So as I was growing up, I noticed my grandfather had a full head of hair, and that was pretty confidence inspiring, right? I'm like, oh, that's going to be me when I get older. Like, he indirectly made me. And that gave me the confidence to be like, I don't have anything to worry about. But then you start to age, and you realize hair loss and male pattern baldness, which I don't even really like saying that. I don't like the way it sounds coming out of my mouth, affects more of us than we'd like to admit. And that's where today's video sponsor, Keeps, comes in. The best way to prevent hair loss is to do something about it while you still have hair left. You used to have to go to the doctor's office for your hair loss prescription. Now, thanks to Keeps, you can visit the doctor online and get hair loss medication delivered right to your home. They make it easy and deliver your medication every 3 months, so you can say goodbye to those pharmacy checkout lines and awkward doctor's visits. Find out why Keeps has more 5-star reviews than any of its competitors and why nearly 100,000 men trust Keeps for their hair loss prevention medication. So the sooner you start off, the better off you'll be, the more hair you're going to save. Visit keeps.com/SSR. Follow the link below in the description for a limited time offer. That's keeps.com/SSR, KEEPS.com/SSR. What's up, everybody? Rob Ferretti here, and I get a lot of people trying to sneak in, calling up, asking to speak to me, and then trying to ask questions on how to start an exotic car rental company. I get people emailing me. It just seems like a common thing that people want to do. So much so that there's guys that take advantage of people like that, right? There's out there right now, there's buy my ebook, how to start an exotic car rental company, make $100,000 a month, blah, 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 blah. It just capitalizes on people that are eager to get into something. Now, I'll be completely honest with you. It is a sexy business. It looks really cool. You're surrounded by cars. For car people, that's awesome. But it's the equivalent of working at a strip club because you like women. It gets old and not that I've ever worked at a strip club, but it gets old in like a week, right? It just becomes a job. It's just you walk past the cars. I haven't driven this car since I drove it back the day we got it 16,000 miles ago. That is the answer on my Instagram, how many miles are on the car. I just went out with 16,200 miles on it in 10 months. Now, I figured the best way to address this, instead of just and if anyone ever asks, competitors, anyone reaches out to me and asks questions about business and everything like that, I always answer them. And I figured the best way to address this and make all these idiots trying to sell somebody their ebook for $500 obsolete, I'll just tell you how to do it. Here's how to start an exotic car rental company. And I'm going to turn this into, and I'll try to be concise, but there's so many variables in starting a business that I'm going to try to be as concise as possible. But I will do a series, 3, 4, 5 episodes on everything you have to do, and it can't obviously apply to all businesses, but it will be good general practices on how to take a business from an idea straight through to market, and then potentially through sale, or whatever your end game is when you're doing a business. Now, I'm going to do this entire thing in one take because this is easy. This is when you become good at something, you can just rattle out the entire thing, and here goes nothing. So you want to start an exotic car rental company. The first thing you have to do, you have to know your market. And it's very easy. A lot of people love to be like, oh, guy, I want to start an exotic car rental company in whatever, Paducah, Wisconsin, some no-name town. There's plenty of rich people here, so there's got to be a business. It's not the case. You have to do a market study. You have to at least understand that people are looking for this product. Otherwise, you have to now convince people that they want this product, and that's a lot harder. To come up with a business that fulfills a need that already exists, much better play. Imagine going to, I've been to Bermuda. When you're in Bermuda, they rent you an umbrella. Sure, you're traveling. Who wants to bring a beach umbrella? You can rent it. It's like $30 to rent a beach umbrella. The beach umbrella costs $50. But they just come, they stick it in the sand, so they're making $30 a day on a $150 purchase, and then obviously you can amortize the labor. You can go into the different business models of all of this stuff, but that's a perfect example. It's easier because when you go there, of course you want an umbrella. There's a demand there. It's not like you're walking place and saying, hey, you really need an umbrella. Let me sell it to you. When it's not raining and it's not sunny outside, it's a much harder play. So identify that the market is viable. Identify that the location that you're going to do it in has enough business to justify it. Now, that may mean you can rent out G-Wagons and Range Rovers and luxury cars. There may be a market for that. I wouldn't go scooping up Bugattis and Ferraris and investing all this capital to find out that there's not a lot of people willing to spend the money to rent it. And that's a big problem. So identifying that the market is viable is number one. If you have a viable market, now you have to come up with a basic business plan. Just have an idea of what your expenses are, what your overhead will be, what your estimated income will be. Now, you can't expect to just be right out of the box making money, but you can estimate your insurance costs, your depreciation, your maintenance, your warehousing costs, your interest expense if you have to borrow money, your labor expense if you have to hire people. All of this is going to wrap up into a business plan. There's people that are professional business plan makers. When I say that, I'm saying that sort of tongue-in-cheek. People that go out and belt out business plans for everything, but they've never hired a person in their life because they've never been able to put together a successful business. So the business plan is more of a guide. It's more to make sure that you're understanding everything that's going on. You may even want to hire a consultant, not me specifically, but you can hire a consultant to look at your business plan and identify shortcomings and help save you a hell of a lot of money, because it's not cheap to hire a consultant. Figure $300 to $1,000 an hour, depending on who you're hiring. And you can go out, and these guys can save you $50,000 if you sign on the wrong line or you do something wrong. There's a lot of mistakes that you can make in business that will bite you in the ass, and will even implode an entire company if you don't know what you're doing. And that's why I'm going to do the business series guiding you through all that. But say you've now established the business plan, you understand what you're getting into. Now you're going to know how much money you're going to need to get where you're going. You can estimate some sort of sales structure, how much money is going to be coming in, and you can set milestones as to when you expect that to happen. You're never going to be straight on line. You may be a little over, you may be a little over, a little under, but that's all business. That's the biggest part of business that you have to be ready for if you're going to go into business is risk, because there's always a risk. And I suggest, generally, people will be like, I have $100,000, I want to do this. I'm like, don't use your own money. If you can avoid using your own money, try to use a bank's money, try to get an SBA loan, try to do something that you're not putting all of your eggs in one basket, because if something does go sideways, pandemic is a perfect example, you end up in a really tough spot because now you have nothing. And now you've risked it all for everything, and you weren't quite prepared, and it's your first business or whatever it ends up being, it may end up biting you in the ass. So now you've got your idea of the business. Now you have to figure out how much money you need. Now you have to figure out where to get the money. It's very important. And so one of the things you want to do is you want to start applying at banks. If you have good credit, that's fine. Risking your credit is different than risking your money. So look and apply to get loans. You have to also set up your company properly so that it's a registered company. It's got an EIN number. It's registered with the state. You have to register as a rental agency. And that's good because companies like Amex, if you register as a rental agency, when Amex swipes the card, it triggers the insurance. Extra protection for your company. Speaking of insurance, that's probably the biggest hurdle that people don't understand in the business. And they think that, you know what? I just don't need it. Or I'll go to the dealership. I'll tell them I'm leasing the car for myself. I'll lease the car. I'll put it on my Geico policy, and I'll just rent it out. Not really how that works. You can do it. You'll rent cars. You'll make money. But when something goes sideways, and that's the problem. That is the difference between a business owner and a hustler. A hustler will make some money, but he's got nothing of value, right? Because a business owner has something that has a value. I can sell my business. Here, it's my business. If you go try to sell your business to somebody anyone can sell their business, right? A drug dealer can sell his business. But the guy you're selling it to will kill you and your entire family if something goes wrong. So that's not really a business. So the idea that you can sell your business means that you can sell it to a legitimate investment firm, a legitimate investor, a legitimate prospect guy who sees value in it, and they can pick apart everything in your business. They can go through and take every line item and say, why this? Why that? Why this? Why did you do this? Oh, we can do better here. What is this? But it's not like, all right, here's what we do for insurance. We just use my mom's insurance and tell them we keep all the cars at their house. That's not a business. You can't sell that. You don't have anything. If it's not set up as a business, if you're doing a business that runs on all cash, Like if you only accept cash and then you say, and you do your taxes and you say you make $11 a year, but then you're trying to sell a company to somebody saying it makes $1 million a year, that's not how it works. You can't do that. And yes, that's the like, I'll break your legs sort of business transaction, the all cash companies. So you want to do everything by the books. Money comes in, goes into the bank account. And you want to keep everything, you want a bank account specific for the company. If you take on partners, that's a big one. It's a big thing that people get tripped up on, is getting a partner. Because you get a partner, you don't want them to be the same guy. You don't want to be two people that are good at one thing. You want them to be different. So you want a partner that complements you. Whether they have money you don't, it's an option. But people generally overvalue money. What do you do when you overvalue money? You give away the farm. Oh yeah, I'll give you, if you give me the $500,000 we need to start the company, I'll pay back your $500,000 with interest, and I'll give you 70% equity. Well, you know what? You're now the guy busting your ass. You're now the guy taking virtually all the risk other than paying that guy back. That guy's secured or partially secured in the assets, ideally. He's controlling you. So now you're working for somebody. It's not your company anymore. You have a piece of a company that you started. And these are all things that come into play that are shortcomings. This is why when I'm saying, I'm just going through this in my head's got 50 things bouncing back and forth about things that can go wrong. But the idea that you can just go out, and that's what I'll do this series for, the idea that you can just go out and start a company and everything's going to work out well and nothing's going to happen is it's not really practical. It's not practical to go that route, to think that like everything's just going to work the way I want it. I can do it. Nobody's going to crash a car. If they crash a car, their insurance is going to pick it up. I've got a crashed Lamborghini right now. The insurance is trying to fight it. Why? Because that's what insurance companies do. It's a bad insurance company. The insurance company verified the claim, and now they're trying to say that the car was used commercially because the guy was shooting a rap video. Guy A wasn't a rapper. He's got you can't find anything that this guy's ever done. So that's like me saying, like, oh yeah, I'm going to rent your car. I rent the car, put it on my insurance, I go out. Next thing you know, what happens? I don't know. I give somebody a ride. Whoa, you didn't say you were doing a livery service. It's not a livery service. I rented it for my enjoyment. If this guy wants to go out and make a rap video, but he's not a rapper, he's not signed to a label, he doesn't have he doesn't get paid to rap. It's not commercial. And then even when they crashed the car, it was driving down a highway. They're not filming a rap video on a highway. Rap videos are filmed in a parking lot where they stand around the car. I'm not going to do my rap video imitation because that's not what I'm good at. I stick to what I'm good at, and that's business. So you've got your company, you got your insurance. That's very key. You have your insurance lined up, you have your companies formed, you have your bank account, you got the money borrowed. And then the other thing, if you have a partner, is you want to make sure you have something called like a deadweight clause, right? Because a lot of people are really gung-ho in the beginning, but if the company's not churning out as much money as you want and everybody's not getting paid as much as they want, that's a big problem. And that's when you start having guys like working elsewhere and saying like, I still own 50% of that. Well, you're not doing anything. So now you've got these guys that have this deadweight clause or not, and there's deadweight, there's non-dilution, there's all sorts of stuff that to protect whoever it is in the business. But giving away equity, should be very careful, because giving away equity, if you are building something that will turn into a company and will have a value, equity is, you want to keep as much of that as you can, because equity is what's going to be worth real value in the end. So now you've got your insurance, you've identified the market, you've got your cars, you've got your business plan, you can essentially go in and start. And that doesn't mean you're going to make $100,000 a month. These bozos out there selling you on this illusion that you can just go drive these cars around and put $100,000 a month in your pocket. Sure, you also have you could have $130,000 a month in overhead. So go into the gas pump and be like, yo man, this is what's up, buy my ebook. Don't trust those people. And if you have questions about starting an exotic car rental company, call me up. I'll tell you. Like, you want to know what insurance company they use? There's no good ones out there, but I'll tell you which ones there are. And they're expensive. And that's why a lot of people try to cut corners to get in there. A lot of people will go over to Turo. I know a guy, he went to Turo, was going through Turo, and then he was going around Turo by like discounting the price because he didn't like the VIG that Turo took. But Turo also only covers, I think it's like $75,000 in damage. So Turo is good because it comes with the insurance, but then they take their VIG, and then you're trying to work around them, and then you're thinking like, you know what, I can just do this without Turo. sort of a good way to get your feet wet, but it's also, it gets stuck. You're not building up an insurance rating, because an insurance rating, as you go, as the years go on and you have no claims, you build up what's called an insurance rating. So your insurance rate should go down. Very important. You can get cars in different price categories. If you get cars under $100,000, very different policy, much easier to insure than if you go with cars that are over $100,000. Those are the sexier ones, the Ferraris and the Lamborghinis. But if you have you can make an incredible business starting out and building an insurance rating with lower cars, with Range Rovers, with Corvettes, with Mercedes, Porsche. And then once you get past that critical mass where you're like, all right, good, we've got 50 cars, we've got financials, we've got this for 3 years. Now you can go and say, I would like another policy and I'd like to bump it up. Now you have an insurance rating, you're easier to insure because it's not a new business. So there's a lot to consider when it comes to renting exotic cars, but the business, it does make a lot of sense. You have to now look into competitive advantages if there's other competitors in the area. There's a lot going on. I'm going to do this, and you can try, and I'll use the exotic car rental model as sort of my fallback for the business series, but you can apply what I'm going to tell you in the business series to all sorts of different businesses. But moral of the story is, don't buy these ebooks, don't listen to these people. Like, you're never going to be successful. And it sucks because they prey on people that are like thirsting for a solution. And I'll give you the solution. I'll give it to you for free. I just don't get ripped off. Like, there is no magic here. And I can tell you, I've seen the books of so many exotic car rental companies. They're like, oh, we want to sell our business. Sure, show me your books. It's legitimate toilet paper. It's like, oh, okay, your business model, you borrow cars, you can't do that because your insurance not covering is not going to cover it if something happens. It's a non-owned auto. Your insurance specifically includes non-owned auto. And that's liability-wise, if you rent a car that you don't own, that's a big problem. That's why you need an insurance policy. So you can't cut the corners here if you want a legitimate business. And I've seen all these companies, and they always want to sell when they're not worth anything. And that's when they're falling apart, or they're not making profits, or they're like, they've got a bunch of old cars that they've rented out for nothing, and their price structure is out through the roof because they're just giving away cars, and they're putting 150,000 miles on a car, and they're like, oh, why is the thing only worth $30,000? Well, it's got 150,000 miles on it, terrible service records, and 7 accidents. So, like, what do you expect it to be worth? Well, we have it on the books, like, it's a 2018 Lamborghini. It should be worth 170. Well, it's not. And that's what ends up nosediving a lot of companies. So if you want to start an exotic car rental company, you come to me, you email rob@superspeeders.com, and send me over specific questions. That is the one single most frustrating thing I have with people, is that the people that aren't designed to have a business, right? If you can't figure out most of it on your own and then ask somebody for help for the difficult stuff, you shouldn't be doing business. Like, honestly, to be in business, you should be good at problem solving. If you're not good at problem solving, you're going to have to get a job. You either have to get a partner that's good at problem solving, or you're going to have to get a job for somebody else. Because businesses are constantly solving problems. And there's a lot of people that can do it. There's millions of businesses out there. But you want to make sure you're capable of doing it before you do it. If you come to me and say, like, generic question, hey, how do I start an exotic car rental company? A, I'm going to just link you to this video, but B, come to me with specific questions. Hey, I'm facing this problem, specific. I will give you a specific answer, and that will help you. And that's how business people, like business-minded people, are able to look at stuff. If you can't do that, probably not for you. Still means you should not buy that ebook, because I'm telling you, like, I don't even have, like, I wanted to invest in these stupid $500 ebooks just to, like, go through it line by line and be like, all right, this guy's an idiot. This is why he's wrong. And I just, I don't want to give them the notoriety. I didn't even put them in this video at all, but I don't want to go through it. Now, this could be the Bible, right? This guy could write the most perfect outline for how to start and create and run an exotic car rental business. But I'm a betting man, and I'll tell you what, that's not the case. Like, I don't even have to read it. I'll tell you. Just watching these guys in their videos pitch these to people makes me want to go, right? Not a good video. Anyway, Rob Ferretti, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, if you have a specific business, I don't even mind if you're cool with me making a video about your business and like telling me what you want or not want mentioned, I will help troubleshoot your business. Because I understand, like, business is, like, I enjoy it. It helps my brain to fix problems, and I enjoy fixing problems, so much so that I will happily help out anyone that emails me with a specific concern. So if you have a business and you're having trouble, or a business that you're sort of plateauing or something like that, reach out to me. If I've got time and you're cool about me making a video about it, I will help teach people how to look at business differently. It's one of those things that Shark Tank, the show, was good because it makes people look at valuations and business models and everything like that. And a lot of people don't think like that. So to have these investors, effectively, whether it's real or fake, to have them critiquing these businesses and telling people, like, and telling the audience how they should be looking at these different ideas, I think is very helpful. Thank you for watching. Sorry, this is probably 13, 14 minutes long, but thank you for watching. I will see you next time. I'll put together that series. I'm gonna make like a VinWiki sort of like background here, and I'll go through this whole thing, overlays, editing, all sorts of stuff. So that just means I'll have it done in the next 2 months. But luckily it's winter and I'm almost done with my house. Yay, Rob's almost done with his house. Check out my Instagram if you want to keep tabs on that. Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow. Hopefully I'll have sorted up tomorrow. If not, it's coming soon. We're in our second revision on the 8th episode. And then the 9th episode is the finale. So we'll wrap up season 1 and we'll come charging hard at season 2, and we'll let you know when that happens. Thanks for watching. See you then. So you guys are familiar with my other company, Adventure Drives, right? Well, we're going to be going to Scotland in October. We're going to be doing Scotch distilleries, playing golf at St. Andrews if you want to do that, walking around, seeing lakes, waterfalls, driving the North Coast. It's going to be an amazing trip. Prices start as low as $2,500 per person for the shorter trip in Scotland. If you're interested in going, check out the link in the description.